All
God
right.
damn, that was long.
Yeah, my bad. I jam out to the music. I'm not gonna lie.
That was some good
Uh,
music.
episode. Oh, dude, every time I do this, I forget what episode
I don't even know
we're
how
on.
you keep track.
I think we're
I
on
just
43. 43. We're gonna say
maybe.
43. Episode 43 of Exit Liquidity. It's gonna be a more chill, more fun one. We got probably one of my favorite CT personalities, researchers. Let me throw you in the middle here. There we go. We got Bagel, Bursting Bagel, on the show. First, first question. What? How'd you come up with the name?
It was just randomly generated, actually. I think it came about while the Xbox 360 was like still out, and I know on Xbox they like give you a randomly generated name when you first like sign up, right?
Yeah.
So like I didn't really like the one that they gave me, so I was just using a random generator for a new name, and yeah, Bursting Bagel came up, and I've had that since. Yeah.
Do you are you like a big fan of bagels at all? Like, have you kind of conformed to the name that you were given, or
Yeah, kinda. I have a bagel pretty much every day for breakfast. Yeah,
nice?
so it's fitting.
I don't think I saw you comment on I think it was last week. There's a big bagel controversy about like the scooping of a bagel, like scooping the
I don't
inside
know,
of the bagel.
maybe
Did you not see that? Was
I
I the
feel
only
like
one
I
who
may
saw
have
that?
seen it, but I don't really remember it. What was scooping? What do you mean by that?
Some guy from the West Coast went to New York and went up to one of those like New York bagel shops and asked them to scoop out the excess inside of the bagel before they served it to him, and they told him to
Huh.
fuck off, and
Wait,
he
what?
posted the video on Twitter. You did, Ollie? Did you see that?
I did
No.
not.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
the only
actually
one
didn't
who
see
saw that.
that. I didn't
Oh
see
no,
that.
I was gonna put that in the promo video. I thought that was like it had taken over like my timeline for a bit. Anyway, uh, markets are green. Uh, I've been happy. Me and Ollie have been having conversations about this. My question to you, or to you and Ollie, really is which one of the like old coins that are pumping do you hate the most? Like, I just scrolled through Twitter
Ooh.
recently and I've seen Maple making new yearly all time
Maple?
highs.
I didn't even know
Maple.
Maple was like still
Didn't they have
around.
like a big controversy recently? Like
Yeah, they lost a
someone like
bunch of
defaulted
money.
and they couldn't.
Yeah, someone defaulted and they lost a bunch of money. But someone was tweeting about it. So I'm curious if there are any hated rallies that you're observing.
I'm not sure. Like for me, it's a bit difficult to like hate a coin like so much. Like it's only difficult for me if I like sold early, and then I
Yeah,
like don't really want it to do well, just for my own sake. But I feel like coins like Maple, it's not so much. It's just like people are trading off the charts, because things have been down bad for so long, and then finally they break their trend, and there's a lot of room to the upside. But besides like Solana and coins like that, I haven't seen too many. What about you guys?
I feel like I mean, nothing has really come to mind for me either, but I don't know. I feel like a year or like 6 months ago, maybe I would like hate some rallies if it were tokens I were like wrong about or stuff I just didn't like. But now it's like I don't know. We've been just like in the shitter for so long that it's hard to be mad at anything going up. Like, if
yeah,
you've made it this far, I feel like you deserve a little, 10 to 20% up or whatever. And,
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but like you have to respect the pump.
respect the
Otherwise,
pump.
otherwise it's gonna come back to get you.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I try and be happy for everyone, I think. But I'm also
yeah,
just not a confrontational guy, so I don't know. That's just
Yes,
me.
same here.
yeah. No,
Bagel, we
I've
gotta
definitely hated some of these rallies. But yeah, let's get
Dude, we
back
got to
on
get
like
his
more of
exit
a track
liquidity
here.
story. We
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
gotten his
yeah,
exit
yeah.
liquidity story yet. We always start out with like with
I
your
went
like
off the
favorite.
rails.
It was important though. I think it was definitely interesting. We always start with getting our guests like favorite exit liquidity story of like their most memorable time being exit liquidity. I think you like told us a little bit about it earlier, but would like to hear like the full story.
There are two things that come to mind. First is like this play that I was up like huge on and just didn't end up selling. And that one was Vader Protocol. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was around like I think at the end of 2021. But what it was like a combination of all the hot narratives during the time, which was Luna UST, like burn to mint stablecoin, Rune, yeah, basically, and yeah, all of those things together in like one protocol. And before the token came out, there was another coin called Vether, which was like you burned the stable coin, you burned ETH to mint VETH or something, and then later on that coin migrated to Vader. So I was like accumulating that for like 2 months or something, just because I had a good feeling about this, and I ended up going like up 10x on it or something, and just never sold because as soon as like those narratives started to calm down, like this protocol, like it just went straight to zero basically. So it was my biggest like gainer over the entire bull market, and then I just didn't end up selling for profit at all. So that was like super depressing. I don't know. Did you guys hear about Vader back in the day?
No, I'm very shocked that I haven't. Like and
Sounds
Ohm
vaguely
mechanism
familiar to me, but
and the UST mechanism was like my bread and butter.
Yeah,
but
back
dude,
then.
this chart, oh my god.
dude,
I just pulled up the chart.
It went to 500 million market cap with like without a product, and I don't know
That's
how I didn't sell. There were so many red flags too, but I was just like, I'm gonna hold because I have like a good feeling. And now I'm like kicking myself.
there are a few charts that are down this bad in all of crypto, I think. You said, yeah, I went to 500 mil once. It's at 100K now.
Crypto man ran was like shilling my bags on his podcast, yeah, and I still didn't sell.
That's crazy. It's not even fully diluted yet either. It's only like 20% circulating.
Yeah, they shut down. They did some redemption because they had like a treasury, but even after that, it was so like I didn't get anything from that, you know.
Yeah, a lot
But
of
that's
those.
mostly just like lost like paper gains, I feel like though, right? Or did you actually like
I
put in a lot and lose a lot?
I think like I was just below break even, but like my probably
Okay.
biggest loss was Pixelmon.
Pixelmon?
Oh, Pixelmon.
Yeah. It was during the NFT bull, and for some reason, I just like decided to mint a bunch, and the way they had the way they minted was just so painful because um it was a Dutch auction, so my friend and I we saw that they started like minting out, so we rushed into mint, but then the last like 10% of the supply just took forever to mint out. So people realized, oh, this isn't gonna mint out, so we'll just start selling on OpenSea. But then because people are selling for lower on OpenSea now, people aren't actually gonna mint the real thing. So it's just like this doom loop of like undercutting the floor. So yeah, I lost a lot of money on that. And then I wouldn't consider this exit liquidity, but um, I actually was part of the Rari hack back in the day, and I like lost like 50% of my portfolio on that. That's a super long story, but um, it was just really unfortunate timing because the reason I entered Rari in the first place was to borrow ApeCoin to use in the other side land mint. And the strategy would have gone perfectly to plan because it was basically like borrowing the ApeCoin to mint the land and then sell that land for a profit but also short ApeCoin at the same time. So like I wouldn't have any exposure to like the actual ApeCoin price, because I'm not sure if you guys saw, but during that week of the mint, ApeCoin like surged 2x. So I was like, I'm not gonna buy into this green candle. But literally like 5 hours after I deposited, and like an hour before I woke up, the protocol got hacked, and like all my collateral was gone and everything. And I'd like never experienced an exploit like that. So it was like super, like, I don't know, I was so like shocked. And like also going into the mint, I was already super nervous because I had bought like KYC'd wallets off somebody. So it's like super sketch. Like they gave me the private keys and everything. So to mint these pieces of land, I also had to trust that the person that I bought the wallet from wasn't gonna like steal my funds as soon as I put like my ApeCoin into the wallet to mint. So it was already super sketch. And then so like I was having trouble sleeping that night, and then I wake up and then I see that like half my money's gone in the protocol. But fortunately uh
Made it all back.
Faye which was partnered with Rari, like together they had like a super large treasury, so they could afford to pay back everyone that was hacked. And yeah, but it took like a year for that to settle. But I got lucky in the end.
Didn't they like try not to do that? Didn't they
Yeah,
try and like vote against the
right.
payback?
Dude, oh, it was such a pain. Um, yeah, they didn't want to pay people back, but I'm sure you've seen like the RFV guys on Twitter, like DCF God and stuff. Um, well, we kind of like worked with them where we accumulated a pretty big portion in the uh, of the supply, and then that way we could like also vote for a redemption. But part of the redemption goes to paying back the hack victims, so it ended up working out in the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's not a common thing to
wow.
see, I feel like.
Yeah. I was like super unlucky that I got hacked to begin with, but I was also lucky that there's a big treasury to repay everyone from.
Yeah, that's a good journey. I feel like you learned
Yeah.
like it's one of the ones where you actually learn something from them, not
Mhm.
just like shit
Especially
coining
good
and just
because you made it back too. You got made
yeah.
whole, so it definitely probably stings a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been pretty cautious with like getting yield and everything and interacting with like on-chain applications.
How
So
do
what
you
do you do on chain?
yeah.
Like, what do you enjoy doing?
Mostly just trading. Like sometimes feels hard to justify like 5% yield or like any of that if there's a decent chance of getting hacked. Um, but other than that, no, I don't do much on-chain like yield farming or anything. Like probably the only thing I do is like borrow against like collateral, stuff like that.
You told us previously a little bit about your kind of entrance into this space. I mean, I don't know how much you want to dox, but I was pretty surprised by kind of like how young you are and how kind of early you got into the ecosystem to begin with. Do you want to get into that story a bit?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it pretty short, but um like since my early teens, I've kind of just always been hustling and experimenting around with different side hustles. Um, like before crypto, it was like e-commerce, drop shipping, FBA, sneaker reselling, like all that typical stuff that's common nowadays. Um, and I was also trading CS:GO skins. Um, and part of that was using Ethereum to get in between different CS:GO marketplaces. Um, so eventually I just went
Like
down the
what year
rabbit.
was this?
This could have been like, CS:GO trading, it was like 2020.
2020.
But then so I got into crypto later in like the summer of 2020, just before DeFi summer. Um, but I still didn't make any like money around that time just because I was so new, and like I was still just buying things on centralized exchanges, but then in like, you know how it goes, once you go down the rabbit hole, you just start like buying like smaller and smaller tokens. And I was pretty new to BSC, so that's where I really got my my initial gains. Um, the play that probably set me up the most was this launch pad on BSC, which was called BSC Pad. But I put a couple $100 in there and I made like 200x. So that like set me up and just gave me a lot more money to like degen into everything else, and yeah, just like compounded my gains.
So when you're like using, from what I know, I don't know if it was different at that time, but these like CS:GO markets that you were using Ethereum in, were there other assets that you could have used? Like did they have like any stables, or were there Bitcoin on there? Like what made you decide to use Ethereum? And then what made you like type that into Google search to even figure out what the fuck this
Um,
thing was?
there are other deposit options, like you can deposit with like a card or like
Keys.
a credit card. Yeah, there's also Dota 2, like because there's a bunch of Steam games that you can like gamble with their in-game items. But
Yeah.
then I think there's like Bitcoin, Litecoin, stuff like that. And I think the reason I like went down the rabbit hole to begin with was because I had to like hold some ETH like in the wallet like while I was trading skins, and I was like just like watching the price. So one day I like looked up like what is ETH and stuff like that, and heard about ETH 2.0, and just like watched some videos on that. I was like, oh, this is gonna be the next big thing, even though I was still such a noob and I didn't even know what they were talking about. So then I just like decided to liquidate my portfolio, and it was just like a gamble looking back, but yeah, I was fortunate that it worked out.
Yeah, I think I remember on, what was it, like CS:GO Wild, where you could play like rock paper scissors against people, like
Yeah.
for like skins, and like people would kind of just like watch the games, and so like if you watch someone enough, you kind of know
Mhm.
what
I
they're
heard this
picking.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, like you would know what they were picking, and you would hop in and play against them and be like, "Yeah, I know this dude's gonna do paper," like from the beginning, and like rinse
Yeah.
them.
That's smart. Super smart.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
Cisco was I think I was on it a little bit. I don't know when there was like a whole wave of all of the like skin gambling being banned, I think, on CS:GO.
Yep.
My like peak on that game was kind of when gambling was like still rampant. I remember I was like I didn't do much trading. I just kind of gambled. Like
Yep.
I just bet skins
Yep.
on games. I did like the shitty like roulette or like jackpot
yeah,
games.
Hmm.
And there was all these like YouTubers who were being paid to like shill these sites, and like not disclosing it, or like there was
yeah,
one like really big one I remember who like literally like was a partial owner of the website, and he was like gaming his videos to
T
win.
Martin.
T
Yeah.
yeah,
Martin, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I had a
that was like what set off like the whole like wave of regulation. And I think after that I kind of stopped like playing around on there too much.
yeah. They used to have like zero trade hold on Steam trades, but then the
hmm
gambling got so bad that they implemented a 7-day trade hold. So after you received an item in a trade, you could no longer send it to like another account for 7 days. So that really slowed things down. Um, but yeah, I had a pretty bad gambling addiction like before I got into the trading.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
but I feel like that's kind of a good thing that happened, just because it kind of made me interested in like money from like a young age, I think.
Totally. Yeah, I feel the same way. I also feel like because I did a lot of like pure gambling on CS:GO, and I realized that I like have a problem with it if left unchecked. So like my rule from then on was to never play games where it's not possible for me to have an edge, essentially.
Mhm.
Like, and that made me like want to find an edge more so playing,
Yeah.
trading or looking for like hidden gems or playing poker or whatever. So now I kind of channeled that into that, which is, I'd like to think, healthier. I mean,
Yeah.
it's certainly like better for my wallet, I will say. But yeah, for me it all kind of started with CS:GO as well.
Yeah, I haven't done much like gambling, except for like sports betting, which was like a month ago or so.
Yeah, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse these days.
Unless
I'm
you're on
wondering,
Rollbit.
Rollbit, yeah, I guess that's can be an exception sometimes.
That app is insane. That app is insanely fun. Like,
yeah, honestly,
I
they really
may or
got the
may
UX
not
right.
be using it, but I could say I heard it's very fun. Like with everything on there, the casino and the futures trading, it's just like fucking ridiculous. But shout out to those guys. Great site. Definitely going to be probably like it has to be illegal. Like I don't know the law, but with the way that shit looks in the gamification of just like pure gambling, like there's just no way it's not illegal. Like there's just no way it doesn't get shut down. But it's
I
great.
feel that way about so many things that I see these days. like I've been looking at this one protocol, like Telegram bot / token recently called Bypass. And they it's like a Telegram bot where you can deposit funds into their wallet, and it's a DEX, it's an exchange. You deposit funds to them and they will trade whatever they have on exchange for you. So it's like no KYC. You can trade on sexes without KYC while remaining private. With like no, to my knowledge, there's no like geo block or anything on it. And it's like, there's no way that's
there's
like,
no way that's
there's
allowed.
no fucking way.
There's no way it's probably gonna work.
It's I mean, I'm rooting for him, I guess, but I don't know.
I saw some
what makes this
Telegram
industry
bot
fun.
that was like what are those things called? Like a mixer service. It was like an aggregator of them, and it was like a Telegram bot.
Really?
Yeah.
Mixers are an interesting one. I remember when I used to work in VC, and I remember like around when the Tornado Cash stuff started to happen, there was like a couple of like privacy focused projects that I was in contact with, and they were all being told to like stop using the word mixer. Like now they're like a privacy solution for like something, so like I don't know. Like the word mixer just isn't like, it's not allowed anymore apparently.
Yeah.
Like people are, which is like arbitrary to me.
The
like
funniest
it's the same
thing when that came around was when people were just like dusting all the famous people with Tornado Cashy. I thought that was probably one of the most hilarious moments in this ecosystem. Just like dusting Jimmy Fallon's like Bored Ape wallet. Like that's just
that
beautiful to see.
Yeah, that was a fun meta. Bagel, how are you feeling about NFTs these days? I know you mentioned that you know, you mentioned you're into Pixelmons early, and I saw you had some threads on like NFT finance. Where do you think like the NFT space is at or is going right now?
I mean, for the past few months or so, it's been down only. But I think very recently, people have been saying that NFTs are back. But I haven't really been seeing it. Like, it still looks pretty down bad. But yeah,
I'm one of those people who's been saying actually I don't believe they're back.
24 hours.
I just like to lie on the timeline. Like I don't actually think they're back. There's been like a couple of mints that pumped.
Yeah.
That's like
the 15-minute blur chart had never looked like so good since like the past like 2 days.
I mean, they're down 90% already though. So
yeah,
you know,
just quicker rotations.
Really know what an NFT pump would look like, because I don't think we'll ever return to some of the valuations that we saw during the last cycle.
yeah.
What about my like BitBear?
Wait, did you say BitBear?
Yeah, I have one singular BitBear.
I got a BitBear too somewhere.
BitBears have been pumping like if NFTs are back for BitBears, like they've been pumping like 2x. I think this last
really.
Well, they went down to like 0.6.
The same.
Right?
Are we talking about the same BitBears here?
Like
Oh, I guess
they
they
Bears
did
and
go
Bet
down. Yeah,
Bears.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't
They
even
went down
see
to
them
point
go down to
seven. I didn't even
0.6.
realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they've been pumping this
I just
past
assume
week
they're
or so.
stable at like 1 ETH for like the past
Mm,
like 9 months. I haven't even looked at them. I looked at them
yeah.
like recently.
I think it's because there's like a rumor of another rebase coming. So having a BitBear is
Uh,
like the cheapest way to get exposure to that, I think.
That would be cool. Finally, give
Mhm.
me
another
some
rebase,
hope.
no chain.
Yeah, hopefully launch soon.
What's going on there? I keep like I don't know. I see some friends are like this shit is like not happening or like it's happening but it's going to take way longer than expected. Like the hype is
Uh,
just so died down by
And
now.
then other people are like trading like SaaS and shit in the background a whole
I think
lot.
I've heard of that too. Um, but I think they are building some cool stuff. It's just like we have no idea of knowing when it's going to be ready or like what's already been done just because like they don't tweet at all. There's no like official documentation out. There's no white paper. There's no like community calls or really like announcements going on in the Discord.
Damn.
But
Yeah, very silent.
I still have like a gut feeling that they're working on something cool.
When did you
Eh,
first come across like that ecosystem? Like, was it like pretty early on?
Yeah, it was. It's like more than a year and a half ago, I think. I think DCF tweeted like there's an NFT project that's launching a layer one. So then I just found them off
Shout out
that.
to DCF.
Um, yeah, then there's like a bunch of like lore behind it, but I was like lowballing everyone in the Discord and like became a pretty hated person uh in that community. But yeah, I've just built my bag like I built my bag pretty early on and then I've made a commitment to just like hold and see it through because I think like the meme ability is there and then like the core team itself, they're really familiar with like all the DeFi Ponzi-nomics stuff. So I think they can create a chain with all the like incentive alignment features that could really help distinguish them. So I'm gonna see it through, even if that means like no launch for a while.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a tough one. I'd say like yeah, I've just internally decided that I'm just gonna see it through. Like I'm just gonna hold this bit bear as minimum exposure until it launches. But
What
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like pretty redacted to like I don't know when I feel like I'm doing what every single other person is doing. Like I have no edge at all. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like
I think it's a bag that's worth forgetting about. Like
yeah,
yeah,
you just kind of let it sit and like if they come up with something one day, great. If not, I already forgot about it. So what's the big deal?
yeah, I agree.
It's a fun
any
one.
other NFTs?
Uh, yeah, those Aori NFTs, like the seats.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I
You're like the
sized into
largest holder,
those.
right?
Yeah, I am. I yeah,
Really?
I was sizing in pretty hard during the auctions just because like those were ongoing for 100 days, and everyone just like forgot about them. Uh, and I even kind of sized in as an RFE play because I realized like, oh, like if we assume that each seat in the treasury or each seat has like proportional ownership of the treasury, then these are like being auctioned off at below their book value. Um, so I was even like, so my thinking was even if this project fails and the Seats DAO has ownership of this treasury, I can arb it and like make profit guaranteed.
How do you disseminate between like something? I mean, Aori now is like pretty legitimized, but
Mhm.
I feel like around that time it wasn't as much. And I don't know exactly like if there's anything comparable to like what Aori is doing with their like seat mechanics. But
Mhm.
the idea of like, yeah, you're gonna own the exchange, you'll be able to do this. Like, we're gonna promise that. How do you discern like what's legitimate and what's not when you make those like big, high conviction plays?
It's like I feel like a lot of it is just like intuition that you build from being in the space for a while. But also in the case of Aori, they had a previous project called Damn Finance. And I
Oh,
was like pretty early to that as well. So I like knew the team members already. So it was just like I know I can trust these guys. And I know the founder is Doc, so that helps add credibility too.
do you have a thesis for them like on the product side? Like, do you like the core infrastructure? You think it's gonna be good for spot or like options trading specifically?
I think it'll be good for just like spot and like high frequency trading on chain, especially with the convenience of just like being able to make orders and cancel them gaslessly. Um, I think, and I love the founders like hate for AMMs. So it's like if I'm gonna make a bet against AMMs, this might as well be it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a discussion we come back to frequently. We
Mhm.
we had
My
Josh
favorite
on.
episode.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too, even though I don't fully agree with him. Like, I don't think we've ever had such like an animated guest before, and like
Yeah.
he did make some like damn good points, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still bullish on them, even if I'm not like fully sold on like the ethos behind it. I definitely respect like the conviction there because the conviction is fucking strong. You can tell.
hmm Yeah, they recently rolled out their like Olympic trading competition where you have to like trade these tokens and stuff to get points, which I assume like entitles you to an airdrop later on. But it's on mainnet right now, but I don't know. I've mixed feelings about it just because you're paying $20 just to like trade tokens. And these aren't even like actual tokens, they're just like green, blue, yellow tokens, whatever. So it's a bit hard to justify paying $20 per transaction, and taking a gamble that you're gonna get $20 worth of Aori and airdrop back. So I don't know. I'm
I
like
didn't know that was on mainnet.
yeah.
Sucks.
I'm yeah. I
What
just want
team are
to.
you on?
I'm on blue team. Yeah.
Nice.
But I just have like an alt on the red team, so I can just like play both sides, you know. Yeah.
That's funny. There's I saw a protocol in Solana not long ago called Phoenix. That's another uh it's another order book based spot exchange, which I feel like we don't see a lot of, but with given that it's on Solana, it's like fully on chain and it's supposed to
Mhm.
be scalable. Do you have a strong opinion towards or against Solana? Or I guess like alt L1s?
Not at all, really. Um, Especially with Solana, I don't really understand the hatred there. I used to do like quite a bit of NFT trading on Solana back in the day, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion. I think that what's most important for me is the actual like ecosystem on the chain. Um, because if there isn't an ecosystem, then there's just like no reason to bridge there to begin with. Like the only reason I'd bridge was if they had some ecosystem incentive plan. So I'd just be like farming that, but then bridge back. But if you actually have like good projects that are built on the chain, then I may stick around. And that kind of goes back to like Bear Chain. I think they're gonna have a super strong focus on building um, great like projects on the chain, um, which actually gives you a reason to bridge over. And then they integrate those projects like into the chain themselves with the whole like proof of liquidity mechanism.
How many? This is a question for both you guys because I agree with you, but I also think that that's a lot easier said than done. How many projects can you name in all of crypto that you would bridge over for? For me, there's like two or three, maybe.
Mm.
That I
That's
would
fair.
now or that I like have in the past?
that you would. Like, let's say, like, okay, it's a basic example. Let's say like AMMs didn't exist on like Ethereum, but you could bridge over to Solana and use them. Like, obviously, you would do that to like trade shit coins or something if you wanted to.
Honestly,
Like,
right now I'd bridge over for another. Like, I'd bridge over for another own fork. To be honest,
Down
if there was like
bad.
the right branding and like the right moment, like if someone had an own fork right now on like something new and shiny, like Mantle, and like I could see it start picking up, like I'd bridge over.
Yeah.
I mean, people are bridging over, technically speaking, for like the most dumb things. Like how
people are
many
bridging to
people,
Cybill.
how many
Like,
people bridged over to base though for that fucking ball token?
Okay, but that was
That
to
was
gamble.
nuts. Yeah,
I feel like that's
but
like always like it's always like a 1 or 2 week thing where you just go for the initial projects that deploy on the chain and then you like just come back, you know.
Yeah, but I think that's fair. I think you can still retain like a good bit of liquidity doing that. But even generating that like 1 week hype wave is hard. Like, honestly, like I thought this was so dumb, but props to like Avalanche for doing it with their like, whatever that social app was. I know it was like totally driven by like one influencer, but like you can't name many instances of that happening, especially in this market.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but they had more success with like Wonderland Time and like those kinds of forks. And then like decent things kind of get birthed out of those Ponzi's. Like I don't think anyone
Yeah.
would have cared what Trader Joe was if there wasn't the Daniel Sesta Ponzi's on Avalanche back then. So I think like you need the Ponzi's, you need like the meme coins before anyone can take the chain seriously.
I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's
I just feel
true.
like we haven't had, well, we've still had Ponzi's. That's the thing. It's just like people are scared and like still scarred from the
The
bear market.
rotation is
Like,
too quick. Yeah.
yeah, like there was like Lotus on Trader Joe for like literally 5 minutes. It generated like the most fees. Like it was like a top 10 like fee output day in like crypto history, and then it was just gone. And then like, the Frentech rotation was super fast. There's like there's a lot of like you don't hear about them because like people don't want to take that risk. But I don't know. Maybe that'll change soon. I
Yeah.
hope.
I need a really good new Ponzi.
Now
Right.
it's just points. That's the fucking
Yeah,
issue.
like that's
Now
so
we're bridging over for like 16 months of points that we have no idea what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
Blur points
That's
we're getting tokens in 2 weeks though. So that, that's one
yeah.
Have you
out of
got
I don't know how many.
what do you think that like what do you think NFTs will do after the season ends? Or like Blur?
Nothing. I
Nothing.
mean, I think I know there's like I know from some like NFT projects there is like a concentrated effort to roll stuff out around that deadline. Like people are seeing it as like a catalyst for the NFT space, but like I don't think it's going to be enough. Like I remember the
I
last Blur airdrop, the like big Blur airdrop was like, like blue chips pumped 15-20%, and then everything went back to dumping forever. So like
I've heard they're
I
gonna
don't
launch
know.
perps too.
That wouldn't
Like, to be
surprise
honest.
me.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
what I've heard through the grapevine.
Yeah.
It has been a while since we've had a Blur a new Blur launch.
I wonder what would happen if like because you can already like 10x long on Blur, right? Just from like it's like the buy now
Yeah.
pay later thing, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen to NFTs if you could do that, but like with shorting,
That's the
Like what would the NFT market do if you let people short collections?
it's I mean NFT perp allowed that. Was
Yeah, but
like
that's
Wasabi
like
and Hook, and like I mean NFT perp obviously didn't work the first time around. It's like
V2's
I don't
work.
know. If you give people the option to short an asset that's down only, like someone's gonna have to take that counterparty,
Mhm.
Like if you let them long, that's fine. Like you'll be able to find people willing to take the other side of that all day. But like I don't know. it's tough for me to say that we'll have infrastructure that can fix that problem. Like as long as everything keeps going down, doesn't matter whether you can short it or long it, like you're not really gonna get anywhere.
The only NFT that I'd bet on is like, besides the bear channels, of course, is like pudgy penguins. And I've
Really?
Yeah?
always said that. Yeah.
I hate.
Is it
I'm-
because of the
I don't
Walmart
hate
stuff?
Not even just like the Walmart stuff, but they're just super good at like executing and shipping stuff. I just believe in the
Damn, these are
founder.
at 5 ETH. I didn't even realize.
I think they're insanely cringy. It's like one of the ones I hate the most. Like I just
Really.
see like pictures of just like grown men with like penguin stuff.
I mean, that's like all of NFTs.
Dude, but I low key, like, I don't know, like it could work. I
hope it does. I'm like slightly rooting for them, but I know like if I look like if any of these people like look back in like 3 years max of like just pictures of them holding a penguin stuffed animal. Like yeah, like you can support like the Walmart sale and like understand the target audience is like a child, but and like you can make money off those kids in Walmart as an NFT collection. But like beyond that, I don't know.
I think
I
it's
just
bigger
would
than
never
that.
have it as a PFP.
I wouldn't want it as a PFP either, to be honest.
I think it's a terrible PFP.
I don't like it as a PFP.
Dylan,
I knew this girl once who this like random chick from Paraguay who would send on WhatsApp. She would send pudgy penguin
Penguins and
stickers.
sticker?
Yeah,
No way.
and I was like, "Do you know what that is?" And she was like, "No, but they're cute."
Dude,
Which is like
Bush.
that's what they're doing. It's not about the stuffed animals like making money from kids.
have
It's
you
about
seen the street, like do you see like those random street interviews on like TikTok or like Instagram? There
seen
there is
some
a
of them.
dude that does these like just street interviews asking like random questions, but he does all of them holding a pudgy penguin. There's no incorporation of it. He's just like nesting it into people's
that's like
minds.
He probably
subliminal
got paid to do
messaging.
that, I feel like.
Or
Luca
he's just
probably paid
loaded
him.
up on penguins.
Could be. Wasn't a pudgy in like a Mr. Beast video recently?
I
feel
don't
like,
know.
or some big YouTuber, something like
Yeah,
that.
it was I think that David Dobrik guy. He had
Something like that.
he had gotten sent one. I mean, they're good at like the marketing and they are like cute. Just not my bread and butter, but you know, I wish them the best.
But I don't understand. How does that benefit pudgy holders?
The which part?
All of it. Like if they grow their brand, if they market really well, if they sell stuffed animals, how is that benefiting me if I hold a pudgy penguin?
I think part of the like selling toys in Walmart part was you can like license out your pudgy and then you get like a percentage of the sales of that like physical pudgy.
Yeah. Like I think they do something cool with like the mini ones that people buy at Walmart. Where if you license it and like I guess there's like a certification process where you're getting it like set up and then you basically are like minting something on chain and then you earn based off of that. And then if I give it to you, like you're the new owner, you do like your own setup process, like the transfer happens on chain as well.
So if I'm an influencer, let's say I go and buy like a unique looking pudgy. Like let's say it's a rare, so it costs me like 20, 25 ETH. I can then just like shill the shit out of that thing and all of my content. I can be like a beauty YouTuber, whatever, like a fitness influencer. I can be whatever.
Yeah.
Just as long as I like shill the hell of that thing. Every sale of that specific one comes back to me.
I think a percentage of it.
certain
Yeah.
portion, yeah.
Percentage. Yeah.
That's actually a good meta.
That's kind of crazy.
Sounds like
yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Because if you're like one of these YouTubers that get like 1 million views on like a fucking YouTube Kids channel, like all those kids are gonna show up to the dude. I mean, I have like little cousins. All they do is play Roblox, and they're buying like what look like CS:GO skin knives for like $5, and they're just like their economy of like Robux is just like $1 billion economy. Like they don't ask for like anything else on birthdays or Christmas other than like Robux. I don't know.
That's what I used to do. I used to get like Steam gift cards and like Visa gift cards and then just buy CS:GO skins with that money for my birthday.
Yeah.
I used to do the same.
I was watching what like my little
Lost
cousin
all of
play,
it.
dude, and they have like crazy movement on this Roblox too. Like if you've ever tried to play like a mobile game, I feel like it's like very janky in comparison to like mouse and keyboard or a controller. But they're like skilled, dude. Like they live and breathe that Roblox shit. And like you could do anything in there. They play like GTA style shit. This is like a shill for fucking Roblox, but like that's the only thing that makes me slightly bullish NFTs. Where like kids from like under, I mean, pretty much of all ages are just like buying virtual shit with fake money. And if that's not
That's the
crypto,
the
then
only
I don't
thing.
know. They buy shit to like play in game. So like you can
No, but
change
that's the one like and only thing that makes you bullish NFTs. Like there's no
well, I mean,
just
yeah,
out of
like
curiosity.
yeah, over a long time frame, yes. Over a long time frame, that's pretty much the only thing. Over like short time frames, yeah, like you can do cool like DeFi stuff with NFT mechanisms like Dyad or like some other shit. But over a longer time frame for like those JPEGs that mean nothing to us right now, they could mean something in a game setting with these kids. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like even in the NFT space, consensus is that like most PFPs right now trend to zero.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
agree.
it's like the other like branding and like RWA and all this other like buzzword stuff that people will try and are trying to kind of like shift focus over to. What do you think of RWA's Bagel?
I think it like the treasury stuff that we see in the treasury bills has been interesting, but besides that, it's like it's not that like interesting to me, I guess. I think there's a case to be made with like NFTs and RWAs because a lot of stuff in the real world is like non-fungible and like unique. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen what I think it's Arcade has been
Yeah.
doing. Like they're big on like tokenizing luxury items and then letting people
Rolexes.
like borrow against them. So I think that's kind of cool. But other than that, I don't know. It's just like I feel like it's just one of those narratives that comes and goes.
Did you
Yeah.
do a lot on Arcade for their points?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I
I
haven't
still have to
touched it
claim
at all.
those.
But I feel like that is like something that I may want to look more into to like bet on.
Yeah. I just wonder like the two like selling points for putting that kind of stuff on chain and like financing it is like number one is like it can be permissionless, which like
Mhm.
you still have to custody it with someone, which
Yeah.
is like the actual physical asset. So there's no way around that. I think you can't really call it. I guess like the financial interaction itself can be trustless, but does that matter if it's custodied by someone else?
Right.
And then the second thing is like the market because we're talking the stuff we're talking about here is like luxury watches, like Pokemon cards, like unique
Stuff you
assets
can't
like
go to
that
like a
people.
bank for.
Yeah, stuff that's worth a lot of money that people don't want to sell, but they want liquidity for. Like,
Pawn shop. It's an
yeah,
online
yeah,
pawn shop.
essentially. That's like a pretty small market to me. The
Yeah.
only use case that makes sense is that people will gamble on anything. Like, I
Right.
think people would gamble on Pokemon cards if they were on chain, or gamble on like I would gamble on the price of watches. Like, I feel like I'm pretty like into the watch industry and stuff, and if I could gamble on them, like I would be more into it, I think.
There's also some like pretty crazy returns you can get just from lending to these NFTs.
Yeah.
Have you guys looked into Spice at all? Spice Finance?
Yeah. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
them on way
One of our
back when.
earlier ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like they do like automated lending for a bunch of different NFT collections, and one of their vaults is actually like averaging 30% on ETH, which is like pretty
Yeah.
crazy. So there's definitely money to be made on like illiquid NFTs just by lending to them.
They have a Blur
Yeah.
Vault too.
Yeah, I'm in that one
Interesting to
right
see.
now.
That was
See
like
what comes out of
they
that.
launched that right after our episode, I think, and
Yeah.
they were teasing like 4-digit APR or something crazy. But
Yeah, like I
I
think
don't
5-digit. Like,
yeah, it was
Five
crazy.
nuts
digit.
Yeah.
APR.
that's unfortunately going to
Yeah.
go away after next week
I
or
think
the 20th.
I've been in there for like a month or two, but I don't. They're like calculating the APR based on like they're estimating what each point is going to be worth, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be like a completely accurate APR, but I'm just interested to see how it'll turn out.
Mm. Yeah, there's
Yeah, those
always
are cool
NFT
guys.
lending has always had a good like yield opportunity if you manage it right. I remember when NFTs were really taking a beating when I was still in the Spice Vaults back in like May or something, and they I was actually losing value by
Yeah,
being in them because they were getting a lot of defaults.
yeah.
But I
I
mean,
look,
they're pretty good about their risk as
yeah.
far as I know outside of that.
They that that like down period in the returns like fully retraced. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
gone back up. Yeah, you can see it on the website.
damn. Yeah, I totally withdrew before I could make that back.
Yeah, I think I went
Definitely
through
sold
like
the
2 weeks
bottom.
ago.
And even if there are defaults, I think they can still make money on those defaults. It's just because the borrower hasn't repaid in time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. NFT, I used to love NFT lending. It was actually like a fun process to do like actively, and like you get excited when you get like a good default. But
They were
after
fun
once
projects.
NFTs just started going down, it was too bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
yeah.
Did
I
the
think
points ever turn into anything for NFT-Fi?
I
Or
have
is it
No,
no
just
idea.
they're
still in
still
a
in their
points
points
program?
program,
I
dude.
don't understand how
I
like teams think that I'm gonna farm points longer than like 3 months.
I
Like,
I can't think of a single project that has made it out of the points, like the points part of their life cycle yet, except for Blur in 2 weeks. Like everything
Yeah.
else is still
just
going.
too fucking long. It's way too long for some attention game.
I wasn't really a fan of it to begin with, like with what Blur did, just because you didn't really know what the points were worth, and then they like they were incentivizing like super risky behavior and
Yeah.
like Maki, like I don't even know if he's gonna turn a profit at this point, but it's
It'd be
just
hilarious if he still does.
yeah.
Yeah, most Blur farmers are gonna be down bad, I would imagine. It's gonna be a rude awakening, I think, when those tokens come out. I
Mhm.
still like Blur as like a longer term play though, just as like I think it's one of the better opportunities and like as like broad NFT exposure.
Have you guys heard of Fungify?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
I think it's probably
An
I think it's
index,
one of the
right?
most interesting NFT-Fi projects that hasn't come out yet. But they're
Really?
creating like an NFT backed index token
Yeah.
that also serves as like something that you can borrow to get liquidity against your NFTs.
Yeah.
And then they're also creating these pools like similar to what you'd see on Aave and Compound, where you can supply an NFT and then borrow other NFTs. Something like
Mm.
so, like say if I wanted to put up a Bored Ape as collateral, I could borrow like 5 pudgies against that and then sell those. So then I can also like trade pair NFTs.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
I know their name, but
I always feel like there's probably like 6 people on the planet that are gonna be into doing something like that at this point.
I think it'll do
Like, I think
well.
it's a cool idea, but I don't
But
know.
think
To me, like the NFT fight thing never really kicked off because the holders are not interested in figuring out how to do these things.
yeah, but with like the index token, I think it's the most similar thing that you can get to like a GLP for NFTs because there's like a swap fee every time people like exit and enter and exit the index. So I can just own this ERC token, ERC20 token that represents like a basket of NFTs and get yield on top of it. And I think people
damn.
will realize that, oh, this might be better than just holding NFTs itself, like themselves.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely would be better than just holding NFTs themselves. I think an
Yeah.
index
That'd be
token
cool.
has a bit of demand.
Hmm.
I miss Abacus.
Yeah.
I know.
They didn't deserve to go
I wrote
under.
like
They were
I wrote 2 threads
Yeah.
on them, but then they just like I don't know. They couldn't get any traction. I think it was too complicated.
It was. I remember I wasn't like a. I like barred against my NFTs sometimes, like not often, but every time, like, because you don't often have like a huge need to unless you're trying to hedge or you need like fast liquidity. But even then, you're going to be paying like fucking 20, 30, 40% whatever on most platforms. But Abacus was always by far the best. Like I was always getting like high LTVs, like low APRs. They supported all the collections I wanted. Like I was a big fan of theirs as a borrower. But the problem is there's like 5 borrowers out there, so
Yeah.
you can't really build for them.
I think the coolest thing that came out of NFT-Fi was like the ability to tranche risk when it came to borrowing and lending, and just offer like lending it for any collection or token, because you don't really see that like with ERC20 tokens at all.
Yeah, it's a good point. But there's not a ton of approaches. Actually, I don't know. I can't say. I haven't like closely looked at the NFT-Fi space and like since we were doing podcasts on it, which was like May or March, maybe. Been a long time. But I'm
It was
rooting
a fun
for them.
time though. Yeah, same.
Yeah, great teams in that space. I want them to
Some
win.
very shitty ones though as well. I feel like the
Yeah.
shitty ones know who they are.
Yeah.
The shitty, like there were a good amount of like shitty grifters in there that
There still are, definitely.
Yeah,
I'll say that much.
we were a young growing pod, and we might have fell for some fake follower.
I'm not
counts.
sure I know which one you're talking about.
We'll fill you in
we'll
after
fill you
the
later.
episode.
Yeah.
Last few minutes, there's probably a handful of people that want to know what the bagel is doing right now. High conviction plays other than Barachain. You're a
Okay.
non. You have nothing to worry about. Just give the people just full on financial advice.
Nobody's made it this far either. It's really just us.
It's the 59th minute and no one's here. It's just us three.
I'd say one that I'd be looking at is Sim.io. It's you've probably heard of Deuce back in the day. But they're doing a token migration, and then you can get Sim, their new token. And what they're doing is they're basically bringing perps on chain, like the whole Binance perps, like order book, everything. Like you can trade any pair that's on Binance perps on chain, and their beta is live right now, so you can actually like test it yourself, which I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, and it's a super good user experience. So that's one that I've been looking at. The only caveat is when you do migrate, it'll be vested for 365 days, which is quite a while.
Holy shit.
But at the same time, like it's only 17 mil market cap right now, and the volume has been going up only. And
wait, which token is that? Because I thought Sim hasn't launched yet.
Sim hasn't launched yet, but you can look at the market cap of like Deuce right now, and then like basically say that they're the same,
Yeah.
But yeah, their volume has been going up only, and with the way it works, they're just like building the back end infrastructure, but then you have separate protocols building the front ends for it. And right now they only have like 2 front ends, right? But I think they have like 7 or so more to roll out, so that's really gonna like increase the awareness of it. One of the front ends that you may have heard about on Twitter is called IntentX, and I think they're gonna be like the primary front end for it, and the beta for that goes live on November 15th, and they'll also have incentivized like trading for that. So if you haven't used like a Sim.io front end yet, I definitely recommend using that, because then you'll probably get an airdrop down the road.
Just any front end?
No, the IntentX one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's launching on Base, and I'm bullish on them too. Besides that, there was like Fungify, which I already talked about, which may be launching in the next month, I think. What else? There's Wagme, which is Daniel Sesta's new coin. I'm down pretty bad on it, but I think it's the cheapest way to get exposure to like the LPD Fi narrative. Because right now Wagme trades at like 6 mil market cap, which is like pretty cheap considering that I think Infinity Pools, Limitless, they all raise like above 10 million, right? And no one really knows that they're working on a product that's a competitor to those to Infinity Pools and those other ones. And that's supposedly coming out in the next month, I think. So yeah, I have. And then
Dopex
there's
is
like,
also exposure to that though, because Dopex is doing that.
yeah,
I don't know when
Dopex is like
Dopex is
what?
weird about their launch dates, so I don't know when that's coming.
Yeah, Dopex is like 50 mil market cap too, though.
Is it really?
Yeah, the only thing that really like upsetted me about WAGME was their launch on Kava because no one cares about that chain.
They launched on Kava.
Yeah, but when they do roll out the like leverage product, which is like perps with it, perps using the unutilized liquidity within the AMM pair, that'll be on like all chains, like wherever there's concentrated liquidity, dexes. Yeah. And then 20% of those fees go to WAGME stakers. And then they have some like other like LP type product called GMI, but I think I could explain it, but it's probably just better you go to the docs and read about them. What else?
Anything more recently that you kind of like shifted out of, like you kind of made your return out of and have left?
There was a good amount of ETH I put in the RLB, and then I have a concentrated liquidity. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have a concentrated liquidity position like that basically like exits between 0.0012 and 0.0015. So I'm just like earning fees right now on that.
Use Uniswap for that?
Yeah.
Nice.
But that's about
Those are
it,
some good ones. Those
Yep.
are all like pretty interesting. Some homework for people to do. I have one more question, Ollie, if you have another one. How much would you get rid of a black AORC for?
That's tough because what I want to do, since I'm one of the top holders,
The last sale wasn't for so long.
Yeah.
Like you're hoarding them, bro.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a really big airdrop from those.
How many? Wait. How many do you have? Well,
I can just say I don't care. I have like 27.
Okay.
So I have like 16% of like all vote power of the seats because you know how different tiers have different amount of votes. Yeah. But I was thinking like since I have so many, I want to find a way to monetize them. So like something that I could do is like lend them to high frequency traders for X amount of time, but then they like pay me something upfront for that like discount for those discounted fees.
Damn. That's pretty
maybe a
fucking
market
cool.
gets built for that. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know where. I don't know who I have to like. Like, should I just go in the Discord to find one? Like, what the fuck?
You can just place
no
a
one's
bid.
selling.
It's like 0.8 right now, I think. Yeah, no one's selling.
No one's selling. No one sold since like September. Get nuts.
Really?
At least on OpenSea, I don't really know.
17 ETH floor price.
Yeah.
How much were these sell? How much were the black? How much did you get the black ones for?
Like between 0.1 and 0.3, I think.
Damn. Yeah, I fumbled that one then.
Yeah.
Dude, I had some whole like script set up to like get them. I don't know how to code that well. Well, at the time, like I'm learning how to code right now, but at the time I didn't know how to code. so I had this like macro running on my computer where I'd be monitoring the mempool on like one tab, then wait for the last minute of the auction, and if I saw something come through, I like had this whole macro set up where it like sent a bunch of transactions through on my MetaMask and like outbidded people by like 5%.
Yeesh.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Well deserved in that case. He had to do all that.
Yeah,
right.
definitely. All right. I think that's episode whatever number 40, 43, 44. This was fun.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it
you coming
was.
on, man.
Yeah, thanks for
Really
having me.
appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right.
That's it for this week.